Hey, what's shaking, party people? I'm a middle-aged guitar noob. I haven't taken a music class since I was put in the corner in 3rd grade for insisting that the correct way to remember the line notes of the treble clef was every good boy digs farts. Which is why I'm here to screw up so you don't have to. I recently started taking guitar lessons from an actual music teacher, and part of what we've been going over is basic music theory. So I figured I'd pass along what I learned to y'all as I learn it, at least as well as I understand it. I mean, I'm a noob. Don't take anything I say as gospel. I might well be talking out my ass at any given moment. Okay, let's start with the basics. The names of the natural notes used in Western music. Not like country and Western, but music in the European tradition. And yes, there are other traditional ways of thinking about music, but I am nowhere near qualified to discuss them. We call these notes A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And there are 7 of them. There are probably between 21 and 24 frets on your guitar. Now, what do all those frets represent if there are only 7 notes? Repetitions of those notes. Because once you get to G, you start back over again at A. Only this A is double the frequency of the previous A, and that's what we call the octave. Why is it called an octave? Because octavus is Latin for 8th, and once you get through the 7 natural notes, the octave is the 8th note you come to. You bored yet? Need some coffee? I promise this is going somewhere useful. Notice how I've been saying natural notes? That doesn't mean there are unnatural notes. To the best of my knowledge, there's no musical mad scientists who've created a scale that's an abomination unto God.
You're gonna burn in hell.
Do it.
But if there were, I have it on good authority that that scale would be the C double harmonic major scale. It knows what it's done, and it should be ashamed of itself. No, the notes in Western music that are not natural are called flats and sharps. A flat is a half step lower than a natural note, and a sharp is a half step higher. What's a half step? Every fret on your guitar, every key on a piano's keyboard represents a half step's difference in pitch from the keys or frets next to it. The piano makes the difference between natural notes, flats, and sharps visual by making the keys for the natural notes big, white, and at the front of the keyboard, and the keys for the flats and sharps small, black, and in the back. There's probably something racist about this, but I just don't have the heart to go into the prejudices of 17th century piano makers right now. Now, here's something that my buddy Will, he's the guy that demoed my baritone guitar in the previous video. You should definitely go watch it after you watch this. Will had to explain this to me back when we were in high school. For all practical purposes, whether you call a note flat or sharp depends on whether you're going higher up the scale or lower down the scale. For example, this note comes between the end of one octave, G, and the start of another octave, A. And that note is called an A flat. And a G sharp. Same note, 2 names. Now, before any conservatory students at me about this, I am aware that it's not quite that simple, okay? But I said this is basic music theory, and I damn well meant it. But noob, I hear you say. Why do only natural notes get their own names? Why are flats and sharps forced to share the names of their neighbors? The answer, as with so much that doesn't make sense, seems to be tradition! Technically, the number of frequencies between one note and its octave is infinitely divisible, depending on how many decimal places you feel like counting to. In the West, our musical forebears decided that only some of these frequencies sound good together. And that led to a bunch of arguments about how the frequencies of an octave should be divvied up, and that eventually led to a consensus that it should be divided equally by 12. And then they decided to only give 7 of those frequencies their own name. There might be an alternate timeline where this note is called L, but Right here in this timeline, there are 7 named notes with flats and sharps between them. Right, so this note is called G sharp and or A flat. All right, we're moving on up to A, okay, and then we're moving on up to A sharp, which is also B flat. You see where this is going, right? Then we go up to B. Then what comes next? B sharp, right?
You're wrong.
C flat?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
There is no flat or sharp between B and C. B and C are 1/2 step away from each other. Moving on from C, we've got C sharp, D flat, we've got D, we've got D sharp, E flat, E, E sharp.
Oh, sorry. That's not right.
F flat?
You lose! Good day, sir!
That's right, there is no flat or sharp between E and F either. 1/2 step, 1 fret difference. So from F, we've got F sharp, G flat, we've got G, and then we've reached the end of the octave. So how are you supposed to remember which notes don't have flats or sharps between them? Well, you could just think BC, as in before Christ on the Julian and Gregorian calendars, and EF, as in E.F. Hutton. And if you're my age or older, you might recall the commercials from the 70s. When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. But in case that doesn't work for you, I've come up with a little ditty to help you out. There's a flat or sharp between A and B and C and D, F, G, G, A, and D and E. That much should be plain to see. When it comes to B and C, all what lies twixt F and E, the answer's elementary.
Nothing!
That's it for today's lesson in extremely basic music theory. Join me next time as we delve into how to count 4/4 time. It involves counting to 4. Or the difference between treble clefs, bass clefs, and Y clefs. Or something. Let me know in the comments if this is something y'all are into, preferably without using any nasty epithets. Thanks for watching, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe. If there is a topic you'd like me to address in a future video, drop a comment below. Keep trying new things, y'all. Take care.